one of the things I challenge the DPA and publishers to do is to try to come up with some kind of standards around, certain size devices, whether it's black and white or color, and figure out, across the board which ones you really want to focus on. But remember, your users are going to be all over the place. And that's what makes things even more difficult. And kind of talking about some of the users' experiences so far, anybody can go on Amazon and read the feedback. You can now go on Sony's website and Barnes & Noble's website and read the feedback. And I think one thing that is still really, really fascinating to see is what people want and expect to get in those subscriptions is what's in the printed newspaper. They will quickly point out if, Vince mentioned Kindle feeds and having certain rights. They will point out very quickly that, you're missing certain pieces of content. And they realize that it's not, the comics and things like that. You got a few people that'll say that. But really, if there's some articles that are missing, whether they're Wired stories or not, they're quick to point that out. So, kind of focusing on how do we get those rights secured with some of the syndicates out there, and how do we get that content and make that available across different platforms, regardless of the design and layout, but just make sure we have that content is really important. The second thing is, I think eventually additional content that you have, whether it's video or if it's additional article content, is going to be really important. Perhaps creating an end of day type of product that goes along with the subscription, where you get the paper first thing in the morning, and then in the evening you get delivered to you if you've opted into that or paid for it, something at the end of the day. I think there's definitely, just looking at some feedback that we've received and just kind of trolling, as we have people that troll through the user feedback on some of these websites, there's an appetite for that as well. If you're able to pull it off without, completely overhauling your existing operations and systems that you have. Because one of the things that we know, and I think everybody can attest to, is there's certainly not an abundance of new resources to tackle this new digital world. You actually have less than you might have had 5-10 years ago to do this. So, partnering with different companies is going to be important, but you guys really, as publishers, need to control as much as you can, within reason, as far as the content that goes out, when there is, because there will be an advertising side of this, which I'm surprised we haven't already gotten questions on that. You definitely need to try to control that. That is your bread and butter, and I think that most manufacturers that we've talked to and worked with agree with that. And certainly as a company, and me as a individual, definitely agree with that.